And welcome to AEW Unrestricted. We are the official podcast of All Elite Wrestling. You've got Aubrey Edwards, you've got Will Washington, and it is finally here. It is All In Texas Week. Will, how excited are you?
I am excited. I'm nervous. There's so many feelings I'm experiencing about this entire week. We've been talking about this well over a year. The tickets went on sale last December, and it's just felt like we've been building to this day. Every single week has been leading to this for the last year. We're finally here. All In has been such a big part of the history of AEW, and to get to do it now in Texas, bigger than we've ever done it. Like, I'm so excited.
Before we get into All In and all of the things that are happening in Texas this week, because there's a whole lot of it, I do want to remind our listeners that we are presented by the amazing people at Upper Deck, and they're doing a fun little giveaway. So you can claim your free 2025 AEW All In digital promo card set from Upper Deck today. This set is only available until July 28th at 12 p.m. Pacific, and we can put the link down in the show notes. You can check it out. There are exclusive cards from Tony Storm, Mercedes Moné, Kenny Omega, Jon Moxley, Willow Nightingale, and Swerve Strickland. Really cool. We love Upper Deck. They've been really, really good friends to us at the podcast. They give us lots of fun stuff, including us, our own cards. It's great. Will, you'll have a card one day. I promise.
No, that's okay. This is the last person who needs a card is Will Washington. Guaranteed that.
It's hilarious. Anyway, so if you don't know, I don't know how you don't know, because this is literally quite the biggest show of the year. AEW All In Texas is, oh my God, it is this Saturday, July 12th, live from Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas. It's the first of two major firsts for AEW. It's our first pay-per-view we've ever had in Texas, which I still find shocking. It's been like 6 years, and like Texas is finally getting a pay-per-view, and they're getting the mother of all pay-per-views. It's pretty great. This is also the first professional wrestling event ever at Globe Life Field, and I'm particularly excited because Globe Life Field is a baseball field, so It's like we're gonna be out on the baseball diamond, buddy. Oh man, I'm so pumped.
Have you been?
I have not been. I've been in the vicinity. I know the esports arena, which we've run before last year in the residency, and we've got a couple shows there this week, is nearby as well. But yeah, I know there's a whole bunch of awesome restaurants nearby. But yeah, if you're in Texas or have the ability to get to Texas this weekend, tickets are at aewtix.com. And of course, you can watch it traditional pay-per-view or stream it live on YouTube, Prime Video, and Fubo. Oh my God, this is just going to be an absolutely historic week. We kick it off with, if you're listening to this Thursday, we had Dynamite last night in Garland at the Curtis Colwell Center. We've got Collision tonight, also at the Curtis Colwell Center. We've got ROH tomorrow, Friday, at the Esports Arena. The big show Saturday. We've got StarCast happening Friday. I'm hosting a karaoke event Thursday night, which sold out, by the way. So it's going to be awesome. Who knows what all of your favorite AEW stars are going to sing. And then there's also a pre-party, like a tailgate, and then there's also an after party on Sunday that are both free fan events. So there is so much going on.
Biggest week we've ever done. And I got to walk the stadium and just walking the baseball field and seeing just picturing what that's going to look like set up for All Elite Wrestling.
I'm looking at the
make
map.
sure
Cool.
I said it to you back during Wembley that just make sure when you're in there, just take it all in. But again, all in. Look at that. But definitely make sure that you getting to be in that ring, take it all in, because this is going to be a special night. I think looking at the card, it feels like one of the most complete cards we've ever done. And I know we say that all the time, but we just know how to do pay-per-view here at AEW. And then looking at the entire week of events and the fact that you've got Dynamite, you've got Collision, you've got Super Card of Honor, you've got the tailgate event, you've got karaoke, you've got after parties. Like, this feels like the biggest thing we've ever done in All Elite Wrestling.
The biggest week in AEW history outside of like when the company was born. Like, this is quite literally, and it's how I justify how stressed out I've been. It's like, this is the biggest week. I'm supposed to feel very busy and whatnot. So like, I'm cramming a bunch of stuff in my luggage. Like, oh man.
And the thing I love the most too is that, guys, it's matinee wrestling. Like, I am a big fan of the earlier start times. Like, we're keeping it traditional for everybody who's watched All In over the last few years. And when you're in the States, you've had that earlier start time because we've been on the other side of the globe. Keeping it.
Do your brunch with All In.
Yeah, I know. It's going to be great. I'm like really excited for this to be an afternoon show. And you'll want to be there and you want to check us out on pay-per-view. What do we got on this card, though, Aubrey? Because this card is stacked.
It's stacked. Okay, so we're going to start. We'll just start and work through them because there's so much, and I'm sure there's going to be more and more coming together throughout the week. So I want to start by talking about the AEW World Tag Team Championship. Recently announced it's a three-way between our current champions, the Hurt Syndicate, we hurt people, versus the Patriarchy. So we've got Christian Cage and Nick Wayne, and Jet Speed, Speedball Mike Bailey, and Kevin Knight, who is like, I mean, if I can be unbiased, they're my favorite tag team in this. Like, Speedball Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight have just come onto the scene, like both as singles stars are absolutely incredible. And then they just have this unique chemistry together because both of their styles are so different. Like, we were in Kent recently and all of my friends loved their match the most. They're like, this is just so cool and interesting and very different. And like, my friends are not wrestling friends. Like, they only watch whenever we're in town, and they're like, these guys are great. And it's just, it's a testament to the two of them coming together so seamlessly and working as a well-executed team.
But on the other side of that, you want to talk about a well-executed team.
Yes.
You have to talk about the Patriarchy and how Christian Cage has set a goal for himself in, he is led from the front for quite some time with the Patriarchy. He's had Nick Wayne by his side for the better part of the last 2 years. Or at least he's had Nick Wayne behind him, but he is now ready to have Nick Wayne by his side. And they're ready to walk away with the tag team championships. Now, we've seen Christian play this one before with the trios titles and definitely making sure he's held on to all the gold, but he has told Nick Wayne that he wants him to walk beside him. And I think in order to make sure he's a man of his word, they have to walk away with those world tag team titles. However, there's a reason they're called the Hurt Syndicate.
Because they hurt people.
They hurt people. And, they won those tag titles back in January, and they have just been an unstoppable team since. And now, right in front of them, they've got the Patriarchy, they've got Jet Speed, and Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin have been pretty much unbeatable. Except for, now that I say that out loud, last week on Collision, Shelton Benjamin was defeated by Kevin Knight. And so, now that I'm saying this out loud, Kevin Knight has shown in a three-way scenario that he can get the W. So everybody here has something to prove. This is going to be an example of great tag team action in AEW. And I think for personal biases, also, I'm really excited to see Jet Speed perform on this stage. Like, we didn't even have Speedball Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight at the beginning of this year. And now to see them on this stage in front of this crowd, it's going to be awesome.
Another thing to keep in mind is that with this it being a three-way, the champions don't need to be pinned or submitted in order to lose the titles. However, the thing we do know about the Hurt Syndicate, if they roll deep. They've got MJF, they've got MVP, we've got people who have a great amount of experience, we've got people who know everyone in the AEW locker room. I would not be shocked if that becomes a factor in this. So either way, this is going to be a phenomenal match.
Going to be phenomenal. We also have a match that I think everybody's been looking forward to since the moment this show was announced.
Yep.
We have champion versus champion. Kenny Omega, the international champion. Kazuchika Okada, the continental champion. And they will put each title on the line to create the AEW Unified Championship. One man is walking away with an incredibly rich title. We've seen Kenny Omega and Kazuchika Okada have what some call not just the greatest matches of all time, but the greatest match of all time. And to know now that these two are going to do this on an AEW program in an AEW ring, on American soil in front of one of our largest crowds we've ever had in North America. I can't believe we're here. I remember just thinking about this back at, we look at World's End, right? Where Kazuchika Okada won the Continental Classic and was confronted by Kenny Omega with the All In sign behind them, and just looking at it and going, yeah, that would be cool. And now we're here, and we're going to be crowning the Unified Champion. Like, thinking about, like, you look at that belt. That was a gorgeous, gorgeous championship. And one of these men is going to be walking away with what's going to end up being one of the richest prizes in All Elite Wrestling.
So 2 notes. One of the things I love about all of our belts is that they all have their own little thing about them. Like with the unified belt, the side plates, one of them is Okada and one of them is Kenny, because that's sort of the lineage of leading up to the creation of this belt, right? Whereas if you look at our tag belts, it's got Jerry Lynn on the side because he was such a huge inspiration to, the Young Bucks, who were founding members of AEW. You have some of our most important women's champions on the women's belt. You have all of these various different little things that are happening throughout the belts. And I think that's really, really cool. And just one of the nice touches that I love that AEW brings to the table. The other thing is that I, as I've said before, I didn't watch wrestling growing up, so I kind of came into wrestling within the last 15 years or so. And I remember searching best match ever, something along those lines, right? And that was my
great
introduction,
thing to search for.
Right? Like, what's the best match ever? But that was my introduction to Okada. Was like, oh, this guy, okay. And then seeing him and Kenny have all these crazy matches, I'm like, oh, that's wild. And to see how highly acclaimed they are, even to this day, going back and watching those matches, how absolutely crazy they are. So as someone who is new to wrestling and hadn't seen all of their previous history live, I can appreciate what it is we're getting. We're getting a once in a lifetime thing. This is it's happened before, but on American soil with these two, with the history they have in a unification setting, there's so many things that are unique to this specific moment. But I don't think I've ever gone into watching a match knowing I'm about to see something spectacular. We're always going to see the best wrestle at AEW, but this is just going to be one of those things where it's going to feel different, like sparkles under your skin.
And we have to talk about the role Okada's been on lately. Where, obviously, this is a guy who has held the Continental Championship for a year and a half. And so, obviously, you look at that on paper and you go, yeah, obviously he's been on a roll. But, these last few defenses and these last few just singles matches he's had have been incredible. The match with Speedball Mike Bailey last month. He was in there with Kota Ibushi last week on Dynamite. And just watching the way Okada has lived up to his namesake and his reputation has been incredible here. And knowing that all of this is leading to him possibly walking away with the Unified Championship. Kenny Omega, of course, is one of the greatest of all time. Definitely the best bout machine. And this is one of those ones that I think a lot of fans thought they had called maybe a month ago. Where they're like, oh, easily, Kenny's winning this. And now I'm seeing everybody second guess themselves because all of a sudden it's like, you know what? Okada has been on such a roll with that gold on his shoulder with the Continental Championship. Why do you want to take that gold away now? He needs upgraded gold. Kenny Omega has been such an important piece of All Elite Wrestling's history and what All Elite Wrestling brings to the table and what All Elite Wrestling is. And it's almost like a guarantee here. You think about the creation of the original AEW World Championship, right? Pretty much every fan looked at that and went, that has to be Kenny's belt. Right. And then he wasn't able to do it. He lost that first main event at the first Double or Nothing. He lost to Chris Jericho. And it's to see now the creation of the Unified Championship, and you have to think to yourself, this has to be Kenny's belt, right? But at the same time, we've seen him come up short before against one of his historic rivals out of New Japan. Does that happen again? I don't know. But I'm excited for everything to come together here. This is All In. It's Texas. It doesn't get any bigger than this for AEW. And this is one of the matches that I remember just seeing fans who were on the fence about buying a ticket. AEWTix.com, by the way. but fans who were on the fence about buying a ticket. And then we announced this match, and it was like, yeah, I'm going. I have to go. I have to see this. I have to see this match in person. And I think it's going to deliver in every way.
So one of my favorite things is about these big shows is always the surprises. And that is one of the reasons why gauntlet matches are so great, because the whole match itself is a surprise, right? So gauntlet match, you have two people who start the match and then more people enter. And I'm particularly looking forward to the women's casino gauntlet, which I think Chris Statlander has the number 1 spot.
Yes.
Yes. So the fun part about this is that it's the first pin or submission, correct? So literally it could end after the first 2 people.
And if anybody can do that, it's Chris Statlander.
Right? And it's like, she is a freaking machine. Like, this is something that could, like, it would be great to see it end at the first 2, because Chris Statlander is so absolutely amazing and has worked hard and overcome so much. It would be great to see her win it. But at the same time, the longer the match goes, the more surprises we have in store. So I'm particularly excited about the women's casino gauntlet match.
I am as well. As a fan, I don't want to see the match end instantly. But at the same time, I'm thinking about how Chris Statlander got the victory to become number 1. She had some help from the Death Riders, who seemed to be very interested in her. And if you definitely wanted to gain that interest, you would almost certainly make sure she gets it immediately. But at the same time, there's so many names that I want to see in this thing. There's so many faces I want to see in this thing. There's so many women that I believe, given the opportunity to become AEW Women's World Champion, because that's what they get here, a shot at the AEW Women's World Championship. And to know that they could possibly face the winner of the match we're going to talk about after the break, to know that they have an opportunity at that, to possibly play any type of spoiler to their victory. It could mean anything. And the Casino Gauntlet is one of the best creations AEW's ever had.
Hands down.
You know, they've been such a blast pretty much since that first one in, what was that, in Jacksonville? Hold on.
Yeah.
Jacksonville. That was April 24th. April 24th of 2024. I'm pretty certain of that. And that was the one Will Ospreay won, and it was phenomenal. And we've done a number of them since. They are always a blast. And the last women's one won by Toni Storm, which led to her becoming AEW Women's World Champion. And there's such an opportunity here. I can't stress enough how excited I am for this.
It's really, really good. There's so much going on, and we've got so much more to talk about here on AEW Unrestricted. So stay tuned after the break as we keep talking about all of the massively amazing matches you're going to see this Saturday in Texas.
AEW Unrestricted. It's Aubrey and Will, and it is pay-per-view week, and we are talking about AEW All in Texas live this Saturday, July 12th. It is at Globe Life Field. You want to be there. If you haven't gotten your tickets, AEWTix.com. But don't worry, you don't have to be in the building. You can also watch it on traditional pay-per-view. You can stream it on YouTube, Prime Video, or Fubo. Look, this is going to be just an incredible show. We were just talking about the Women's Casino Gauntlet, which grants you an opportunity at the Women's World Championship. But whoever wins that has a tough task ahead of them, because they're going to be facing whoever walks away with this AEW Women's World Championship. And we're talking about timeless Toni Storm defending the AEW Women's World Championship against the TBS champion, Mercedes Moné. Mercedes draped in belts. And what better way to cap off that collection than with the AEW Women's World Championship? I am a big Toni Storm fan. I have said that before on this show. I have said that time and time again. But I would be remiss if I didn't note that I have many times over the last really 10 years said that Mercedes Moné is the GOAT.
Right, she really is.
She is. And if you don't believe it, just watch the last year she's had here in All Elite Wrestling. Mercedes Moné has proved every single one of her doubters wrong. And the beauty is, the louder the doubters get, the better her performances get. And it's like, yeah, keep it coming, keep the hate coming, because she's just going to get better and better and better. And to take that in an undefeated streak here in AEW and take it all the way to winning the Owen Hart Cup and becoming the challenger to Timeless Toni Storm's AEW Women's World Championship it's been an incredible feat. And she is so hard to bet against in this scenario because she has just been on fire.
She has 12,000 belts, it seems like. I know, because I had to pick them all up in Mexico and like put them on her, and it was so heavy.
It was such a great visual.
Oh my God. She has not lost a match in AEW. There's so much in Mercedes Moné's corner for this match, right? But Timeless Toni Storm is such a presence. And on top of that, has also been putting on stellar matches. She's one of our biggest stars to come out of AEW. And she's an absolutely incredible human being. She's just a fantastic locker room leader. And she's one of those people that like I don't ever want to root against. So it's really hard in this instance. And I kind of am remembering back to the promo that they both had together to close out Dynamite a couple weeks back. And Tony had this amazing line of, we're going to have these two really huge stars having the most important match in women's wrestling history. And all of the little girls watching are just going to go, these bitches are crazy. Like, but that's really what we're getting out of this, right? Regardless of who wins or who loses, this is going to be one of the greatest women's wrestling matches of all time. It is important to everything that has happened, to everything that we've worked for in wrestling overall, to see Mercedes Moné like bust through all of the glass ceilings that she did, to see Timeless Toni Storm come to be the wrestler and the person and the champion that she is, to have both of these women face off in a ring in our biggest stage all year. It just makes me really proud to be a part of this locker room, that this is something that we get to see. And oh man, I'm really looking forward to it.
I am so looking forward to this match. Another match that I'm very much looking forward to is the TNT Championship on the line. Adam Cole defending the TNT Championship against the protostar, Kyle Fletcher. We heard last week on Collision, Kyle Fletcher bring up something that, I think a lot of fans were kind of shocked to remember, that these two did face off. Mm-hmm. All In's 0 Hour back in 2023. We actually saw the team of Better Than You, Baby, face Aussie Open. And that night, Adam Cole and MJF walked away with the ROH World Tag Team titles. They defeated Aussie Open. And Kyle Fletcher's had a chip on his shoulder with that ever since. And, I went back and I watched that match. Great match. But that is a very different Kyle Fletcher than the Kyle Fletcher we know today. It feels like that man went through a complete metamorphosis.
Because he did. Have you seen his body?
Yeah. Like he just looks like he acts like a completely different person. He looks like a completely different person.
He acts and looks and wrestles like a star.
Yes.
And like, I'm so glad you brought this up, because like I saw someone online basically put the image together of Kyle Fletcher's matches, the last 3 All-Ins. There's the one you mentioned where he, dropped the title to MJF and Adam Cole. There's the 16-man tag that he did in the pre-show last year. And now he's facing Adam Cole for the TNT Championship. And to see the growth just from Kyle Fletcher and the amount of work he has put in to being who he is at AEW, it is phenomenal to see. Like, that guy has gotten everything that he has worked for, but there's a reason why, because you hope that people work that hard when they are given the opportunities that they are. So it's difficult, because like Adam Cole is just one of those guys that like, you love him. You love to root for him. He's overcome so much, and he's a phenomenal TNT champion. But who doesn't want to see Kyle Fletcher walk away with a singles title on a big stage? Like, it's one of those instances where I don't want either of them to lose, but I want both of them to win. How do we make this work? How do we change the rule book?
And Adam Cole has been looking for redemption for some time, right? Like, Adam Cole was in the main event of All In 2 years ago, and he did not walk away with the victory. And then he had to miss All In last year. And so to think about how, he very much wants to perform at this stage, at this level, and to successfully defend the TNT Championship. And if he can pull off the victory against the Protostar, like that's a big feather in his cap. And it cements his TNT title reign as an extremely successful one, and kind of puts it in the upper echelon of TNT Championship wins. So this is a hard one to pick. And, like you said, you kind of want both guys to win here. But
the winner
I know this one's gonna
is the fans, because it's going to be
the
awesome.
Fans. Yes.
It's a cop-out, but honestly, like, this match is going to be great.
And also, we are talking about the men's casino gauntlet. We talked about the women's casino gauntlet earlier in the show. The men's casino gauntlet was one of the highlights of last year's All In, and it returns to All In this year. You get a shot at the AEW World Championship with just one pinfall or submission in this match. MJF, with the number 2 spot, has guaranteed that this match will not go beyond the number 2, that he will make quick work of number 1 Mark Briscoe, and you will not see, as long as MJF is in control, you won't see anybody else in this match. This match will be over instantly. I am certainly not rooting for that. You,
Same.
the viewer, are not rooting for that. Aubrey Edwards is not rooting for that.
Nope.
Nope. If we've ever rooted against anything for MJF to pull off, it's that, because the men's casino gauntlet, the casino gauntlet as a whole, is at its best the more performers enter this match, and I am ready to see what the AEW roster. Everybody's hungry for that title match. Everybody is waiting behind that curtain. We've had instances, by the way, right, where like we had guys waiting behind the curtain who never got called. Famously back in 2024 in the second Casino Gauntlet, Roderick Strong was very upset that he was right there, right behind the curtain. And
there you go.
Yeah, he was ready to go, and then the victory happened, and he did not get his spot called. But everybody is right there, waiting for their spot. They're ready for their music to hit, and it could end in a flash. That's the excitement of this match. You never know who's going to be in it. You never know when the victory is going to take place. But as soon as it does, that's a guaranteed opportunity at becoming AEW World Champion. We were talking about the women's world title earlier, but we're talking about the World Championship, the men's World Championship, and having that opportunity. It's going to be exciting.
I just love that we've got 2 gauntlets on the show, one for the men and one for the women. Like, it's great, because even though it's the same match format, they're going to be completely different, because the depth of this locker room and the depth of this roster is insane. I have no idea what's going to happen. Legitimately, that's a shoot. I have no idea what's going to happen. And I'm really, really excited for it. And it's awesome. And oh man, we've only touched on 6-ish matches on this card, and there's still so much more to talk about. So hang tight. Come back after the break, listen to a couple words from sponsors and whatnot, but we're still talking about All In, because you should definitely be making your way to Texas. So stick around. We'll be talking more matches after the break.
AEW Unrestricted. It's pay-per-view week. Aubrey and Will are talking about All In Texas. It is live this Saturday. Globe Life Field. You want to be there. AEW Tix.com is the way to get your tickets. There's still an opportunity to be there in person. And if you can't be there in person, you can also order it on pay-per-view. We've got it on traditional pay-per-view. It's on streaming on YouTube. It's on Amazon Prime. It's on Fubo. However, you have an opportunity to be there. If you can't be two places at once, like Tony Khan's favorite movie, Time Cop.
Oh my God, you wore a Time Cop shirt.
I did wear
Which,
a
by
Time
the way,
Cop
did you
shirt.
know that that's on Prime Video? Which
Yeah,
is one of the
I
places
did,
you
actually.
can watch All In.
I did. But yeah, it was funny. I was like, all right, at some point I have to get that reference in there.
There we go.
But yes, All In And being that this is the biggest show AEW has all year, we have to talk about the biggest match AEW has right now. And that is the AEW World Championship on the line. The Owen Hart Cup winner, Hangman Adam Page, challenges the AEW World Champion, Jon Moxley, in a Texas death match.
Oh my God.
We have seen these two go at it in a Texas death match before. Let's get that out of the way now. We saw it Revolution 2023. This was a bloodbath the first time we saw it, and Hangman Adam Page walked away the victor. Tapped out Jon Moxley with a chain. But now, Jon Moxley is the AEW World Champion. He's a far, far more dangerous Jon Moxley than he was then. And Hangman Adam Page, at the same time, is as dangerous as he's ever been. This man burned down a house less than a year ago.
Did nothing wrong.
Hangman
did nothing wrong. I'm a part of that camp on the internet. I don't care that, should Swerve broke into his house. He was justified in burning the house down. The things he did to Swerve in that steel cage match, Hangman has been justified in all of the horrible things he has done.
Well, either way, Hangman has also looked for redemption for a lot of the horrible things he's done, and it has brought him to this opportunity to become AEW World Champion. Hangman Adam Page, of course, won the AEW World title almost 4 years ago, right?
Whoa.
It was a very long time. He won it back at Full Gear in 2021, and he has been searching for that chance to become world champion again. And it has eluded him so many times before, but every time it has, the fans keep screaming, we want Hangman to become AEW World Champion. And he got here. He got back here. He won the Owen, but he's up against 4-time AEW World Champion Jon Moxley. Jon has had his back against the wall many times throughout this reign. He has had many defenses where it has felt like this has to be the one. I think every fan at Dynasty was like, this is the one, Swerve's walking away champion, and he didn't. We saw the fans at Revolution thinking Adam Copeland's going to walk away with the title here, and he didn't. Orange Cassidy had the opportunity. We've seen Samoa Joe challenge in the steel cage. Jon Moxley has held on to this title by hook or crook, and in a Texas death setting, a setting that Jon Moxley has already faced Hangman in and lost. Jon is not looking to do that a second time. He is looking to keep that championship inside that briefcase and continue his reign over All Elite Wrestling along with the Death Riders.
I just remember, anytime I think about Hangman in this situation, watching the press conference that happened after Double or Nothing, once he had won the Owen, and seeing Hangman sit down and start crying because he was so happy he had the opportunity to even challenge for the title again. And I think he said something like, I don't think I'd ever be in this position again. And that's the kind of guy that Hangman is. It's not a character he plays on screen. He is that guy. He works hard. He wants to defend the people he cares about. He cares about his family. He's an incredible wrestler. He's just the kind of guy you want to root for. The man literally burned somebody's house down and he still has an army of people behind him on social media. I've never met a cooler gardener in my life. So I think just for botany's sake, every botanist in the world wants Hangman to win this title. But that's the great thing about AEW is we've talked about it a long time. Hangman Adam Page is kind of like AEW's main character. And we always want to see our main character walk away winning the big one. Jon Moxley has been an incredible champion, as you've said, 4 times now at this point, and he's had his back against the wall. But I just think there's something beautiful with the idea of Hangman walking away with the title at the end of such a big show.
And to think that we're doing it in Texas death. This is, there's nothing more appropriate. And thinking about the fact that, as I talked about Jon Moxley's history with Texas death and Hangman Adam Page, Jon has never won Texas Death, actually.
Nope.
I just realized that off the top of my head that, John lost to Lance Archer at Texas Death. We talked about that with Lance Archer on this show just recently.
We did, a couple weeks back.
And Hangman Adam Page, though, his most recent experience inside Texas Death, he faced off with Christopher Daniels. He got to have, he got a little bit of that spark back from the loss to Swerve Strickland back at Full Gear 2023. So, these are guys that are experienced in this match. And to see it happening again at All In, this time in the main event for the AEW World Championship, this is going to be something special, and something special for these fans. I feel, I was sitting front row for the first Texas Death match between Jon Moxley and Hangman Adam Page. Yeah. And I remember just, the blood. It was such a mess. There was a lot. And, but I just remember thinking, like, I am witnessing something special here. And then Hangman walked away with a victory. And so I don't know what to expect here, but I think it's going to be one of the most memorable endings that AEW has ever seen for a pay-per-view.
It's going to be violent. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be memorable. And I know that we're all there for it, and we're going to be watching it, and I'm really excited. Oh, man. All In, like, I was already pumped for All In, and then I started recording this with you, and I'm even more pumped now, and I don't know how that happens, but it does. Yes!
Well, we got one more match to talk about, and this match here, there's so many implications. This is company-changing when you look at either outcome to this match, because I am talking about Swerve Strickland, Will Ospreay, the franchise, the feeling, teaming up to take on the EVPs, the Founding Fathers, the Young Bucks. But there's so much on the line here. If the Bucks lose this match, they are no longer the executive vice presidents of All Elite Wrestling. But if Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay do not walk away with the victory, they do not get the challenge for the AEW World title for a year. And when you think about that, like, I know a year can go by, right? That we've been doing this show together for 2 years, and it doesn't even feel like it. But no. Yeah, but a year can go by. But to think about the fact that Swerve Strickland is a former AEW World Champion, and he has vowed to get that belt back. He has been talking about it since the moment he lost the world title. It is still such a part of his identity to call himself the former world champion. He wants that belt back. And as soon as he's done with the Young Bucks, his goal is to get that championship back. And to know now that it's possible he can't be in the title picture for a year, Will Ospreay, he from the moment Will Ospreay joined AEW, it was almost a certainty that he was going to become a world champion in our company. We just knew it. Everybody knows it. He has had few opportunities at that championship. He got the challenge last year at Forbidden Door, and he made it to the finals of the Owen. He knows it's just a matter of time before he becomes world champion. And to know that, Swerve and Ospreay have been hovering around the world title picture pretty much for the better part of the last year and some change. And to know that if they lose this match, they can't even look in the direction of that championship. Can't even sniff that belt. So much riding on this. But the Bucks, if Matt and Nick lose this match, like, think about what that changes here. We're talking about the Founding Fathers of AEW. We're talking about two guys who built this place.
As it says on this Upper Deck card, here from the start. Like, literally, day one, BTE showed Double or Nothing on their cell phones. Like, these guys have literally been there since before day one.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. We got them both here. Yep, Nick Jackson. We got them both. Yep, we got them both.
Shiny little cards from Upper Deck. Thank you, Upper Deck.
Yes. Thank you, Upper Deck.
Yeah, these guys have been a part of AEW literally since before day one. That this company was founded around. Like, Founding Fathers is not a gimmick. That's literally who they are to this company.
They main evented the first All In. They were on the poster. The first All In. Like, this was.
They planned the damn thing.
They planned the damn thing, right? Like, this was their thing. And a big perk of them launching AEW was they're the executive vice presidents. And, for the last year and a half, they've definitely very much taken advantage of that. They've definitely really worn those EVP titles on their sleeves, and they've made life a living hell for a lot of guys. And so there's a number of people rooting to not have them in power. Like, just the idea that Matt and Nick, after losing this match, could potentially become just a part of the roster.
I like the idea that, like, your title on LinkedIn could change as a stipulation from a wrestling match. Like, it brings me great joy.
Yeah, honestly, like, I think I should have gotten promotions that way.
It means I could get promoted by just wrestling somebody. Maybe I went in the wrong career path.
Right, exactly. Obviously, I've been in this, been doing this all wrong. But yeah, there's so much on the line here. Just thinking about the fact that either the world title picture completely changes and leaves out two of the biggest stars in AEW and Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland, or the founding fathers are no longer in an executive role in this company.
This is one of the most interesting stipulations I think we've done in a very long time. And I have no idea who wins or who loses here and what the outcome of that is. There's so many matches on this card that are all in that same space of just like, this could go either way and I'm going to love it. This could go either way and I'm going to love it. It honestly doesn't matter. This show is lining itself up to be the greatest show we've ever done. And I mean, absolutely, we hands down, we say it all the time. We're broken records here, but we're broken records because it's true. AEW knows how to do pay-per-view. We somehow top ourselves every single time. If you want a surefire gift to someone, you buy them tickets to an AEW pay-per-view because they are guaranteed to have a fantastic time. So as a reminder, you can still get your tickets because AEW All in Texas is this Saturday, July 12th, live from Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas. Get your tickets, AEWTIX.com. And if you can't make it there, definitely get the pay-per-view for someone. Make a whole deal of it. It's earlier in the day. You can get a whole lunch together or a brunch even, depending on where you're watching from. It's going to be great. But if you're watching it at home, traditional pay-per-view, you can stream it on YouTube, Amazon Prime, Fubo. Also, just as a reminder, AEW Unrestricted is presented by Upper Deck. You can claim your free 2025 AEW All-In digital promo card set from Upper Deck today. The set is available only until July 28th at 12 p.m. Pacific. So we put the link in the show notes. Limited edition sets, these exclusive cards. We have Tony Storm, Mercedes Moné, Kenny Omega, Jon Moxley, Willow Nightingale, Swerve Strickland, bunch of awesome stars in this digital set. You can listen to, as a reminder, this podcast every Thursday, new episodes on all of your favorite podcast app, Apple, Spotify, Overcast, whatever it is you listen to, we're there. You can hear us talking about how excited we are to work at AEW because this is genuine, right? Like, I friggin' love working here, and I love that we have these amazing, huge shows that we get to put on for our fans. Like, this is such an incredible place to be, whether you're on screen, behind the scenes, or in the stands. This is where you want to be. So listen to us chat about this every single week. Thursdays, you can check out the video episodes on YouTube. Just search AEW Unrestricted. Hit the subscribe button so you never miss it. And if you're not an AEW insider, you can get early access to ticket pre-sales, special merchandise offers, and more straight to your inbox. Sign up today when you go purchase your all-in tickets at AEWTix.com. Don't forget, obviously, Dynamite, TBS Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Streaming on Max also. AEW Collision live on Saturdays on TNT and streaming on Max. ROH streams every Thursday on Honor Club. I'm Aubrey Edwards with my best friend Will Washington. We're about to go to Texas. Thank you so much for listening to AEW Unrestricted. Peace.